We're heading into this potential last and final game of our spring final series. Genji are down 0-2 versus Damwon Kia, backs against their walls. And it's such a difficult mental task for them. Once more on this blue side here. They have elected some of the same champions as the previous game, but BDD and Live have chosen the Orianna and the Alistar instead of the Zoe and the Rakan this time around. An even more team fighting focused composition, and maybe with an Orianna instead of that Zoe, Showmaker, BDD would have been able to carry that previous game and provide a little bit of assistance to Ruda, who in these team fights was the single threat, the single man keeping Genji alive. After such a momentous throw, such a gigantic lead given out of their hands in that second game, only few teams are able to bounce back in such a high stakes best of 5 series as this one. For this time, Genji with the same champions. Oh, also, I did not account for this. They have the Ornn in the top lane now, of course, instead of the Volibear. The Ornn in the last game, in the first game of the series, has already gone up against this Sion, another return matchup for this game. And I do like it. It's a sort of tank matchup for them, and their composition is now even more teamfight centric, but it might be a little too one-dimensional. Let's see how they can contest for these early dragons that this series has so much been focused all around. Damwon Kia, interestingly enough, have gone back to that Senna, though this time around without the Heimerdinger, instead of Tahm Kench in the bottom lane with her, which greatly diminishes that pushing power they displayed in that first game of this series. And more of a classic pairing here with the Senna is the Tahm Kench, a tankier champion of course, and someone that does provide a ton of utility and can get his AD carry out of some difficult situations that no other champion would be able to relieve Ghost from. Damwon Kia, they have gone back to this Udyr pick that has worked so splendidly before in cycling his jungle efficiently. Already full clear completed, has arrived at the crab, and a whole entire camp before Klid on the top side has completed his clear. And both junglers are now grabbing those first crabs. And once more we have the Udyr not focusing on the top side here in this tank matchup again, not punishing this rather stale lane up here where he might have an opportunity to once or twice run down this Ornn for a kill, but realizing that in this current meta you can just constantly, time and time again, over and over, cycle through your camps and get those dragons. And slowly but surely, if you have the priority in the bot side of the map, and if you have the faster clearing jungler, you more often than not are going to arrive first at those objectives, and it's going to be on Genji to find a way to either get priority over their lanes once the dragon spawns, or find a way to disrupt those Baron takes in some other way. Of course, they can afford to give up some early dragons if they are getting anything in return on the other side of the map, but with a Sion, again, we talked about this in game 1, with a Sion on the top side, it's almost impossible to dive that guy. And maybe they should shift their attention to early on, get a Rift Herald and accelerate their Tristana in terms of gold, and then be able to contest those second or third dragons later on, if they are not able to do so straight away. Canyon looking for a gank in the mid lane already. He's not gonna flash onto BDD, who has cautiously positioned towards the bottom side of the map and therefore skillfully avoided this gank. Ward drop down at the Raptor camp of Klid, does not spot the Hecarim here as he moves cautiously behind, but Canyon has already appeared in bot lane again, though Genji get themselves out of there in time. They are still very much awake and their heads are still in this series. I do like to see that, but a good ward from Damwon Kia might just spot out Klid as he makes his way in this alcove area. Hex Flash coming out from Knife, knocks in Barrow, but is not able to get behind the Tahm Kench and therefore needs to cancel this engagement. Klid has now also moved on towards this ward, has been getting cancelled while trying to backport, and this means that with Klid delaying his backport so much, Canyon is able to get this dragon and not even lose anything in tempo, as the Hecarim is not able to clear his jungle camps at the very same time. Therefore, Udyr ahead in jungle pacing and also getting that first dragon. It's all going to plan, according to plan, for Damwon Kia. Khan on the top side now also using his teleport, which means that Rascals will come up just a tiny bit earlier. But again, these top lane matchups, and although Khan is one way for help in CS, this is not going to be the side of the map the game gets decided on. BDD in the mid lane gets stunned up here by this gravity field, but nobody around to punish him, means he's alright there. Oh my lord, it's getting such more tense by every minute that passes by here. Damwon Kia have played game 1 so impressively while being able to cycle these early dragons with that Udyr pick. And for game 2 they did come back after such a blundered early game where they got way too reckless, especially in the mid game then, and with their playmaking tools decided to time and time force when they were not able to do so, and still won the game. So for now, Genji are going to have to pull off an even better game here. Flash blown in the middle lane of BDD, and the Victor ult Chaos Storm just burns him down. First blood in this third game goes over to Showmaker on the Victor. Once more, this mid lane, first blood going over against BDD, just like in game 1. It's looking eerily similar, only with switch sides here. It's such. I'm at a loss for words, quite honestly, because I can't even begin to imagine how this has to feel like for Genji. BDD this time around, they do pick the Orianna and try to relieve some of that carry burden from Ruler, but BDD again forced behind early on. And this time around, it's at least not on the Syndra where he needs to exert that early pressure, but still, you'd much rather have that Orianna coast by a little bit more safely and unscathed in that Victor matchup, which also has been very prominent in the European LCK finals, where both these champs have been played into each other a ton of times. Here, BDD gets a good trade onto Victor, but Khalid just farming his Raptors while Kanyan makes his way in there needed to be. Well, there was even a ward from Damwon Kia. They did see, excuse me, from Genji, they did see Canyon pass over that corridor near the Raptors. So Khalid definitely needed to catch this Udyr before making his way in the mid lane. That was just, again, poor awareness or communication by the side of Genji. It cost them so much early on in this mid lane matchup. Roskal now in the top lane also gets stunned up here, gets taken out by the Udyr once more. Canyon is getting so much done on this map. Kill picked up for himself now, 1-0-1. Even in CS, you could say, and the first dragon picked up as well so early means that if they stay on this pace, they might just roll over Genji, quite honestly, in this last game here. Dragons stack so efficiently so far. When are Genji going to decide to throw everything into the kitchen sink and throw a wrench in that well-oiled machine that is Damwon Kia's macro play? They are now trying to contest for this Herald, but they are late here. And although life is already here on the Udyr, Beryl is up here on the Tom Kench, having used his ultimate, his Abyssal Voyage, to get towards the fight. 4 versus 4, and no AD carries are around for this Herald. I don't feel like this is a very good situation for Genji, because quite honestly, even though the Hecarim ultimate is going to be much more impactful than in level 7 Udyr, they don't have the position here to walk in, and therefore can't force this Herald. Damwon Kia on the other side decide they don't rely on taking it either, and therefore do reset. And I very much like this play from them. It's 1 minute up until this dragon spawns. They couldn't care less about this Rift Herald. Instead, Kenyon decides to jungle back down. We already saw this kill, there's nothing special going on. Flashes the Sion ultimate and goes down afterwards. But as we see a nice cinematic repetition of that Sion knockup, we notice that Canyon is jungled down towards the bot side here, cleared his top side, and arrives at the bot side just in time for this dragon to spawn in 30 seconds. I would have expected, but instead he's once more in this Rift Herald pit actually, which is a move that I don't like a ton. Senna has also moved up, and it seems as though Damwon here once more try to force around this Rift Herald, which is a very curious decision in my opinion, but maybe they just want to take it off the table so Genji can't trade it for the Drake once both of these objectives are up. It's a bit greedy from Damwon here because of course Genji could have thrown everything at this Drake now, and they are first in position around the objective. So now Diamond here have to check into this Dragon area because they surely don't want to give it up for nothing. They want to keep accelerating this game, and that's exactly what they're doing. Canyon has caught up BDD. Clit has to come to the rescue of his mid laner, but both ults blown from the Genji mid jungle duo means that now Diamond Key have all the teamfight advantages on their side with only the Udyr Flash expanded to avoid the play from Genji. This dragon is gonna go over to Diamond Key once more. Oh my lord, it's getting more and more tough for Genji. When are they gonna throw anything creative here at Damokia? We see the same game played out time and time again. And although game 2 looked different in terms of who got ahead, it's the same thing over and over. The team's just fighting for the dragon. But if you the team consistently losing out on these situations, at some point you need to change up the game here. It definitely looked like they had it in them to win a game here in game 2. And it's now or never, quite frankly, for them to step up here. Once more, yeah, we're playing for first place. We're playing for the championship here in the LCK Spring Split, and whoever wins, there's only one slot for Iceland, yeah. Only one LCK team will be able to represent Korea in Reykjavik. So if you don't win now, Genji, then you can say goodbye from competitive league until the summer split. They were the chosen ones to contest for Diamond Kia. They did wipe out T1 in the semifinals, and Ruler is now going in and trying to get this kill onto Ghost. He ults the Senna and the Ignite is ticking, but Ghost ends up surviving the whole altercation. 3 summoners traded for 2 on the side, on the bot lanes of both teams, but teleport coming up from Showmaker is of course a big win for the side of Genji. They are going to be happy with how this one turned out, despite Ruler just not getting this kill. With one more auto attack would have been enough to get Senna to die. Diamond Kia setting up a dive in the top lane now. This Herald will take out this turret, and then Roscoe is going to be all alone here in this 1v2 situation. Tries to ult and maybe clear away. If Clit has now arrived, and the Herald takes out this turret, but Canyon is taken low, and Clit takes him out with his own onslaught of shadows. Showmaker in the 1v1, almost dead. Can BDD finish him off? He flashes the command attack from the Orianna, dodges out on the next one, but gets taken out by the clockwork wind up here for BDD. A nice little solo kill coming in for the Genji mid laner. That's gonna boost his confidence a considerable amount. And DK again, they did bite off a bit more than they could chew, quite honestly, just like in the last game when they were looking for these catches in the mid lane and the bottom lane jungle of Genji. They here once more, they could have just waited for this Herald to crash and move in afterwards, but Kenyan takes turret aggro early on and then gets forced towards the bottom side where Clade is approaching from. And Showmaker tried to move up to help his team at any cost, but he can't do that against that Orianna, who gets the first chunk onto him, takes him out. Well done by BDD. Oh my lord. What a day it has been. Oof, mid lane now has swung quite a bit in towards the side of BDD. He does have the advantage in terms of CS, about 200 gold up, I would assume. And on the rest of the map, we have the Sion in the top lane with a considerable gold advantage over the Ornn, but that's not going to be the game deciding. In the jungle, we still have Udyr quite a bit ahead of the Hecarim as well, because remember that turret plating picked up by the Herald is also going over in part to Canyon, who has summoned the monster. In the bottom side of the map again, we see Ruler pulling ahead a bit early on here. Kraken Slayer first completed for the Tristana, and Sana will do so shortly, probably on her next base. As it stands, Genji should be happy with how things are going on. They don't need to necessarily win this early game, but they do need to put a halt to this dragon stacking from Diamond here. Cloud Soul and Ocean Soul both have not appeared in this series so far and are not going to appear in this game either. Again, those are the 2 first dragons every single game here. Mountain Soul once more coming up. This could be once more a game decider. Khan has snuck behind BDD but has been found up by Clit in the jungle. The Sion has to walk out of here now. He can't simply dive these 2 members of the opponent's team. Clit was there just in time to avoid BDD from getting tower dive here without the flash available to him. Dragon spawning in 40 seconds. Both teams are trying to set up around this bottom side river. Diamond Kia are 5 men in mid lane first here. They do establish control, and they will now start to set up vision here in the bot side river, which you see on the minimap they already have done an excellent job of doing. There's not a single blue ward, and I mean blue team's ward, in this river. Genji will need to face check this one without any additional information of what their enemy team is doing here. Quite frankly, Ruskell is looking for an Horn here on the side, but he's not blowing in just yet. 13 seconds. Both teams have now an equal position in the mid lane, but the vision is still in favor of Diamond Kia. Khan has positioned towards the bottom side of the map. He's charging his stun up once more. Gets the knock up onto Ruler, honestly. Quite careless for the enemy Tristana. Loses half his HP bar for just stepping up too far into this low ground Sion, whose Q is always a bit difficult to assess in terms of how far they actually can reach. And Diamond Kia wants to start up this dragon, but Genji tries to flank with their jungler from the bottom side. Diamond Kia pull out of this situation, realizing that they can't afford to get onslaughted onto the back line. And it's actually Life who's in a big trouble here. Trent teleports his AD carry to the stun, and they just get taken out at the bot lane of Genji. Drop to simply that one center route that Life with his flash transported towards Ruler. It's all disaster for Genji. He also gets exhausted. There's no flash available. Clit ults in to try to disrupt the enemy backline, but the damage has already been done. 4 kills picked up here by the side of Damwon Kia. This is all terrible news for the side of Genji and for anybody who wants to see more than 3 games in these finals. 4 kills on this Udyr. He's going to be a huge nuisance, and 2 more kills for Showmaker in the mid lane. I'm also going to put him this time around ahead of BDD finally. 3rd dragon picked up by Damwon Kia as well, unless Clit can get in here. Does not have any opportunity to get over this wall, and therefore so point 17.5 minutes into this game already for Damwon Kia. Khan has not have his unstoppable onslaught available yet. Ruler leaps forwards onto him, but the cavalry has already arrived. Sion ultimate has been burned, and maybe Khan would just be left to die here, honestly. Does not manage to find an angle with his ultimate where he can slide out of this play, and therefore keeps off the kill, but not worth a shutdown. And also no objective on the map means that Genji cannot capitalize in a huge fashion onto his misstep. Okay, take another look at this skirmish. How did this actually develop? Diamond Kia move in on towards the top side of the fight. Ruler and Life get completely zoned off, and then Life, quite honestly, a disgusting play by his side. He throws the complete situation. Walks in when there's no opportunity for his team to hit. The bot side splits off from him, and then he even, when he's clearly dead already, flashes with the center route on top of him onto his AD carry. Completely cost his team that whole situation there, as it seems. Again, horrible coordination on the side of Genji. Diamond Kia might have been a bit caught out here though, as Ghost has already been forced to flash away and taken out by Khalid, who ults into the backline and finishes him off. A double knockup comes out from Rascal, but Showmaker gets the kill onto Khalid. Ruler under the enemy turret takes out the Tahm Kench, gets away with a slither of hair, but on the top side the fight has turned terribly. Triple kill for Victor. 3 kills for Showmaker. This guy is gonna be huge. And Ruler, quadra kill goes over to the enemy Victor. What is going on? Ruler tries his best. He gets that 1 kill onto Tahm Kench, and Klid's kill, of course, onto Senna can also not go unmentioned. But it's 2 for 4 is not something you can afford at this stage in the game. 5,500 gold in favor of Damwon Kia's this gold now. And remember, soul point has already been secured for them. 3 minutes. 3 minutes time until that dragon goes down. Genji's only opportunity at this point is to have a smite fight for it and hope they don't lose it. And that's always something. Ruler? Excuse me. Okay, that was a very ambitious by the Genji AD carry. And if these are the types of opportunities you're looking towards in coming back in the game, you know how doomed it feels for the side of Genji. Backs against the wall. If they lose, it's over for them. The engage did look great here, honestly, but Clit pulls back barrel instead of Ghost, which is a very weird decision. Even if the Tahm Kench ate his AD carry there, they could just run down both of them, as they already did anyway under that turret. Life tanks the turret up quite well, but in the top side, the fight had already been lost. Showmaker getting all those 4 kills of this of this situation means nothing good for Genji. Oh wow, I don't see them winning any team fights right now, and I don't see them winning any, especially after Damwon Kia will secure themselves this Dragon Soul. Therefore, because they're completely unable to fight at this stage in the game with these massive goal discrepancies in jungle and mid, they have to just go for a steal towards this dragon. And that's something 50-50, flipping a soul for the enemy team is something you never want to do in a game. But it's the best play this time around because you're already so far behind if you're Genji. It's all looking so bad, but these are the exact situations in which heroes arise, in which clutch players can pull out a play or two that throws their enemies off and maybe try and claw the team back into the series. Maybe get that additional game, prolong the series, start sowing doubts in the enemy team's minds, making them nervous. Just put up anything that the enemy might be uncomfortable with. Genji, they get themselves a tower in the bot side, the first tower of the match for them. That's a good start, but it's not going to be enough. 50 seconds until this dragon spawns, and they need to get this smite. They need to get that last hit on the dragon, or else it's looking so terribly hard. Teleport cast in towards the mid lane. They want to make sure to all be here in time. Klid sneaks away into to the top side of the jungle, but he's of course not looking towards the Baron. He's looking for a flank onto the enemy team. I don't want to see them engage under the enemy turret, but Damwon Kia is moving forward in the mid lane. Maybe this is the angle that Klid can approach onto Ghost from. There's no flash on the center, and if they can split her from her Charm Kinch, there is an opportunity for Hecarim to simply one-shot her with with the Orianna Shockwave preferably. It is available to BDD, and the Onslaught of Shadows for Klid, of course, is also off cooldown. They have cast the Herald into the mid lane, and Klid slowly needs to move in towards this dragon area. Damwon Kia have no idea where he is just now. They do speculate that he might be near their wolves, but instead he's still sitting in this mid lane where Damwon Kia have perfect vision once he steps out of this bush. It's looking very hard for Genji. They need their jungler to slowly arrive. He has shown himself to the enemy team. He tries to go onto somebody meaningful, but he doesn't find anybody just yet. This flank was useless, and the shockwave has been pulled only onto two members. Ghost completely heals that damage up again, and Genji are on the run already. It's so hard for them to find a positive fight here. There's damage in their backline, which is massive already. They're fighting back, but the health boss are dropping solo. Flash forward from Khan. Doesn't get the knocker, but Ruler needs to rocket jump out of there, and the dragon is getting taken low. Klid is not in range to contest it, and Canyon will pick this one up. It's Dragon Soul over to Damwon Kia. They have the fourth dragon assembled, and they are now so heavily favored to win this game with that massive gold lead of 5,000 and the Dragon Soul. And 6 minutes time until this Elder Drake means that Genji are in big trouble here. They don't have a single fat member that can maybe turn the tides of a team fight here. They've also not demonstrated any creativity in setting up plays. They are also don't even have any, well, I'd say any objectives of any sort claimed for their side. They didn't get any Rift Heralds, they didn't get any Dragons. Ult here from Sion completely negates the Ornn ultimate. And yeah, just the gold gap for the side of Damwon Kia means that they can slowly but surely chunk out their enemies here. Senna has a good enough range, and Victor does just as well for them to poke on towards the enemy front line without ever being in serious danger here. Heal comes out from Ghost just to make sure that this Hecarim ult does not inflict too terrible damage, and Khan here flashing forward. Both BDD and Rule are forced out of the fight by him, and BDD at this point in the fight already out of mana. No more effect coming out of him. Dragon Soul in the hands of Damwon Kia in this last game. The odds couldn't be stacked worse against Genji. How are they gonna recover for this? Damwon Kia have been so diligent in choking their enemies out in that first game, and they are looking to repeat this process now. Ruler is about to face check into Khan, gets knocked up and immediately one shot. That was such a good setup, and exactly these types of plays is what I'm looking for Genji, and that does not look And that is not what Klit tried to do earlier in the topside jungle while his team was around the Baron when the enemy has complete vision of the mid lane. That's intelligent bush trapping by Khan in this case. BDD teleports towards the bot lane realizing that this Baron is simply not contestable without their AD carry being alive. He teleports bot lane, tries to get some CS and shove a wave into the enemy turret, but Khan, realizing that there's no contest going to be mounted at this Baron buff, simply walks down and catches DCS of BDD. DCS, therefore rendering BDD's play effectively useless. It's so bad for Genji. I can't stress enough how unlikely a comeback at this stage is anymore. They're further behind, way further than Damwon Kia were in this last game. Honestly, Ruler walks there without a single clue. Of course, this spectator client doesn't suggest as such, but you can see how hyped up Damwon Kia get at the prospect of getting so close to this finals victory here. Just one more win means they can go to Iceland and claim the second consecutive international title for them and the LCK, which is a region has fallen from grace. And only Damwon Kia were able to re-establish that great Korean name in the international League of Legends community. All the hopes of the Korean fans will rest on them if they are only able to close out this game. And it does not look like Genji do have the answers required at this current moment to stop them. Baron buff has been taken, and Genji are now gonna have to defend against 3 waves getting pushed in from the enemy team. For now, it's only 2 in the bot and mid lane actually, but these huge numbers of minions are so difficult to clear out for Genji. Chip damage getting put onto their bot lane inhibitor, half HP already. We see this just like in game number 1, where down here slowly but surely kite the enemies all around their own base and take out these turrets. But this time around, Genji tried to strike back before their turrets drop. Brule gets away with a slither of health, but BDD is not as fortunate. Ghost flashed forward, and they might just be able to push out this game. With the one enemy carry dead, it's a 4v5 situation. And Khan teleports back into the base to cast his teleport into the minions while they are tanking the Nexus turrets. They are looking to close out the finals right here and there. Genji tried to mount the last defense, but Khan is unkillable for them. Gets thrown towards the fountain and finally dies. Is this the opportunity they needed? Good play from Live here to take out the enemy tank, but it might not be enough. The last Nexus turret has fallen. Stasis coming out of Showmaker. There's no damage from the side of Genji to seriously threaten the carries of Damwon Kia. Ruler has been stunned up and he's been taken down. It's the game and the finals. Championship goes over to Damwon Kia 3-0 in the Spring Split finals. And I'll see you guys in Iceland. They're looking so dominant, and LCK can be proud of their representatives who are looking to once more sit on top of the world.